pretty much when you look at it, the dating and relationship advice out there, the most popular, the most promoted, the stuff that YouTube pushes is the provocative stuff. But unfortunately, or fortunately for advertisers, 99% of it is about worry and what to avoid and the dangers and pitfalls and things like that. How not to trust the other, what not to do, what to look out for, the unfairness of it all, what not to put up with, what to say no to. But curiously, there's not much saying yes to things. The examples of relationships people make videos on and talk about are the tabloid, highly strung, stressful ones, things to avoid. Don't even go near that. Because let's face it, you're not going to click through on a boring relationship where people get along and there's no drama to be told. Everything about relationships out there seems to be worry and negativity. The main flavor I seem to realize with relationships is it's something to be avoided, it's something risky and stressful. So relationships are generally seen as negative. The only positive thing related to relationships that we hear about is staying isolated and alone. So happiness is staying on your own and not having any companionship or friends and being some sort of lone wolf. So it's no wonder that all you hear when people talk about relationships is red flags, red flags, red flags. Because it's exciting, it's entertaining, it's clickbait, it's reality TV style. But no one talks about green flags because green flags are tranquil and boring. And no one cares because they're peaceful. They're rare, but they're not exciting. And because most relationships are imbued with red flags online, you start to characterize even the word relationship when it props up. You get your suit of armor and you're very defensive against it. You don't want to talk about green flags because it's like, what? You want to let your guard down a little to look at the brighter side? Like, don't be ridiculous. You're going to get hurt. Keep that guard up. Relationships equals red flags. So now we associate red flags with relationships by default. So we have a mistrust automatically about relationships. The word relationships, like we say the word banks, we automatically mistrust the word. It's imbued with negativity and resistance. So it's no wonder we rarely discuss relationships in a positive light. Oh, by the way, hit subscribe if you already haven't. Helps me out. Thank you.
Dude, relationships and women, they're just not worth it.
Okay, which relationships are?
None, dude. They're all the same. I mean, like, why would you touch a hot stove? If you get burnt once, twice, like, why would you ever want to touch a hot stove again?
Yeah, I agree. Don't touch hot stoves. 100% I agree with you.
But dude, they're all hot stoves.
So you don't deal with women, is that what you're telling me?
Bruh, I only do hookups with chicks.
And that's not a hot stove? Hooking up with random women over and over again? I did an old video years ago that was quite popular talking about how old women, if they wait past their fertility, it's like they haven't cashed in a lottery ticket that was worth millions of dollars in their youth. And then by the time they wait to cash it in, it's barely worth $1, if anything. So the idea of not cashing in a lottery ticket, I think some guys also don't cash their own in. And I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about having an optimistic attitude about their life and things in general. Green flags, not just red ones all the time, this defensive posture of no, 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 no. This apophatic posture of feeling secure by what you don't want. But there's never going anywhere. There's never knowing what you do want. There's never getting off your ass and feeling good about your life. I mean, do we even want green flags? Because it seems like the red ones are really entertaining to talk about from a distance. You know what? A lot of the intellectual discussion stops when we start to talk about giving advice because we think, it's airy-fairy, it's part of the self-help genre. And that's fairly kooky, and I agree for the most part. there's very little ethical, practical advice, especially for men. Men tend to have to go back to the Stoics for that. And because I myself, I don't like being told what to do, I don't want to tell any one of you what to do as well. But what tends to happen, we stop short and we just describe the train wreck out there as though there's nothing we can do about it. And then we just end up giving up, and all we do is describe the red flags, but we don't actually describe any green ones we could go forward towards. And I used to think, no, I'm just going to be descriptive, not prescriptive. But I think we should be actually offering advice, offering suggestions, offering ways forward, not forcing it upon people, but actually mentoring and trying to positively help each other rather than being sort of neutral and just giving up. To hell with the red flags. Let's start talking about green flags. And not that I suggest anyone need to get into a relationship or anything. You can live your life any way you want. But to hell with red flags all the time. Let's start discussing green flags. Let's start sharing what can work. Guys are good at building things and inventing things, at getting through things, not just avoiding. Let's go somewhere in our own lives. And a great way is to discuss green flags. Let's talk about solutions and better ways to think to move forward rather than sitting on the sidelines inert, just watching the world go by and pointing at train wrecks. Gentlemen, life is short. We have 3 short seasons: youth, middle age, and old age. There is no meaning in your life, gentlemen, except the meaning you give it. I'll say that again. There's no meaning in life. There's no point to it unless you give it meaning, unless you want to give it meaning. Want is the important word. Please enjoy your life. Take some fun, calculated risks. Patiently, with your eyes open. Don't just sit there pointing at negativity all the time. Live a little. I hope this video helps someone. It was sure cathartic for me. If you feel like it would help someone, feel free to share it, subscribe, like the video, thumb it down if you didn't like it. If you feel like saying thanks and donating, there are links below. I appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. 4 note cards to get through this whole video.